Good morning, Year 2s. It's maths time and we're back here today with some more mixed numbers. Now, yesterday we were looking at mixed numbers using halves as well as those whole numbers. I wonder if you can notice what fractions we may be using with our whole numbers today. Now, here is our in focus task. I'll zoom in for you if you can't see it. It's very simple. It says, how many pies are there? So, before I explain anything further, perhaps you could have a go at recording in some way and showing what you know to tell me how many pies you think there are on the screen. Now that you've had a go at that or had a little think about it, let's have a look at what some of the children think. So here's Emma. Emma says there are 5 pies and a bit. Is this true? Could you maybe be a little bit more specific? Well, if we have a look, I can see exactly what Emma means. I can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pies altogether, or 5 whole pies. And I can see the bit she's talking about. So, I agree with Emma. There are 5 pies and a bit. But I think that bit should have a special name. I'm wondering though, what this bit might be called. I wonder if it's a half, just like yesterday. Well, now I'm going to think about what I know about shapes and fractions. Looking at these pies, I can see the pies are round. Here's my pie. I'm imagining I'm looking at my pie from above. Now I said perhaps that bit is a half of a pie. I know that when I have half of a pie, it would look something like this. Because if I had 2 of these pieces, that would make the whole pie. Now, I'm not sure that this matches what I can see over here. It doesn't quite look the same. It looks like what they have done is chopped that pie in half again, because I can see all of that yummy filling just there in the pie. Can you see that yummy filling too inside the pie? Looks like a cherry pie or a strawberry pie, something jammy in the middle. If I had half the pie, I wouldn't be able to see all of that filling. So I think they've cut it in half once more. Now, if our parts were to look like this, and they had cut it in half again, I can see that we would have had 4 in the whole. Therefore, I know the denominator for that bit must be a 4, because this tells me how many parts are in the whole. Now, in the pie, the picture of the pie we have here, how many parts would I need to colour in to match what's up here? It looks like they only have 1 of the parts coloured in. So, if I were to just colour 1 of my parts in, I know my numerator is going to be a 1. So I think that part must be called 1 part out of 4 equal parts. They've chopped that pie into 4 and there's 1 of the bits left over. It must be called a quarter. So I think Emma could have been a little bit more specific. I can see that there are 5 pies, but the bit she was talking about is the quarter. So I would say that there are 5 pies and 1/4 of a pie. They show 5 and 1/4. Do you agree with me? So the children have come to the same conclusion as well. They've said that this represents 1/4. So we have 5 pies and we have 1/4 of the pie as well. We must have 5 pies and 1/4 altogether. What we're going to do now is to have a go at practice counting in quarters using this number line to help us. I can see we have 1 quarter, 2 quarters, 3 quarters, 4 quarters, 5 quarters, can you speak with me? 6 quarters, 7 quarters, 8 quarters, 9 quarters, 10 quarters, 11 quarters, 12 quarters, 13 quarters, 14 quarters, 15 quarters, 16 quarters. Could we count in quarters? We could. We could count, saying how many quarters we had seen as we moved along the number line. We said that there were 16 quarters altogether, which was true. But I've noticed that on this number line, there are only 4 whole sausages. Now, when we're counting in quarters, we need to remember the whole numbers so that we can say our mixed numbers together. I'm going to model how you would count in quarters using this number line. And I wonder if you are able to have a go at joining in with me as I go along. This would be 1 quarter. So we say 1 quarter first. Both of them would be 2 quarters. So 3 would be 3 quarters. Then I would have 4 quarters, but we know that when we have the numerator and the denominator looking the same, they mean one particular number. We don't write it like this. It means the number 1. On here, I have 1 quarter, 2 quarters, 3 quarters, 1. 1 whole sausage. Then I would continue writing. That's 1, and this is a quarter. It must be 1 and 1 quarter. So next I would say 1 and 1 quarter. If I add another quarter, I've got 1 whole and 2 quarters. I have 1 whole and 2 quarters. If I add the next quarter, I have 1 whole and 3 quarters. 1 whole and 3 quarters. If I add this next quarter, oh look, I finished another whole. 1 whole and 1 whole makes 2. I'm going to move this box away. We're going to have a go at reading and counting in quarters using this to help us. So, 1 quarter, 2 quarters, 3 quarters, 1. 1 and 1 quarter, 1 and 2 quarters, 1 and 3 quarters, 2. 2 and 1 quarter, 2 and 2 quarters, 2 and 3 quarters, 3. 3 and a quarter, 3 and 2 quarters, 3 and 3 quarters, 4. Don't worry if you're finding it tricky to count in quarters at the moment. This is still quite new to us. So we will keep practicing as we move through the session and then the following ones this week. So today, we're still learning to be able to recognize and write those mixed numbers. Remember, when I say a mixed number, I mean a number that has wholes and a fraction of a whole. For example, I have 1 whole and I have 1 half. This is the number 1 1/2. So here is a guided practice for today, which will show you what your learning may look like in your independent workbook page. This is 1. That cake means 1. So I have to work out what this is. Now, I know that means 1. This cannot mean 1. It's not the same size. Now today, I know we chopped our pie into quarters earlier, and I think the missing piece would be in there. If I were to chop this cake into those 4 equal parts, I can see there's 1, 2, 3 parts still there out of the 4 parts that were there originally. So this must be 3 parts out of 4 equal parts. It must be 3/4 or 3/4. Now remember, when we're writing our mixed numbers, the first thing we do is we write the whole. The second thing we do is to write the fractions. So I'm going to start by writing the whole, which is 1. There's 1 whole, and then I will write my fraction. There are 3/4 of a cake. This is 1 3/4. I know that this one is 1, this is 1, this is 1, and this is 1. I'm going to draw my lines to show how that cake was chopped. This is what it would have looked like. How many parts are left? 1 out of how many parts were there all together at the beginning? Yes, there were 4 parts all together at the beginning. Now, let's write our whole. Well, I can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 whole cakes. Now we write our fraction. There's 4 whole cakes. This is our fraction. There is 1 part out of 4 equal parts left. This is our fraction, 1/4. Here we have 4 1/4 cakes. Your activity is very similar for your worksheet today. You have to look at the whole and write what you see in the box. Then record your fraction. Notice how the fractions are all to do with quarters today. There's 4 equal parts in this whole. There's 4 equal parts in this one. There's 4 equal parts in this one and in the last one. There is a challenge in today's worksheet after you've had a go at that first page, and that is to have a go at adding the numbers to the number line by counting in quarters. Now this is a challenge, so if you find this too tricky, please don't panic. Have a go. Maybe you could chop up some bits of paper and put them along a number line to help you. Maybe you could use Lego blocks. Perhaps you've got some small Lego blocks that you could put alongside some longer pieces of Lego blocks. Your longer ones could represent the whole, and maybe you can see if you can find 4 shorter ones that would fit in. That might be a way of helping you to see what would go into these boxes today. I expect everyone to have a go at this first page and to complete that one. Have a try at the second page, but if it's too challenging, don't sit there and feel stuck in the learning pit. Just have a go. If it's too much, stop for today. We can come back to it again. Remember, we don't always complete all of the pages in our workbooks. The pages get more challenging as we move through. So that's your learning for today. Going to complete the worksheet pages, showing me your mixed numbers. How many wholes and how many parts within the whole are there? Write those mixed numbers. Okay? So that's your learning for this morning. Take care, and I'll see you again tomorrow, where we'll be counting not in quarters or halves, but we'll be counting in thirds. Take care. Bye.